Yes, friends, according to the color texture summaries provided by ChatGPT, I used it on the soft gray wall. 220, 220, 220. I also use this color, the taupe color, on the walls, specifically in the arch section. Actually, it's such a sweet color. Look at this color, friends. The color it provided. I used this color. So I added a slight reflection to that color. Now like this. How do we choose the colors? For example, when you select the color on the wall with our dropper tool, look, you are selecting this color on the wall. When you go to the edit section, you change the color wheel part here to RGB, 220, 220, 220. The walls became this gray color. In the others, when I select this part with my dropper tool, friends, this is also that color. That is the color it originally provided. So this color. I set that color to 175, 160, 145. It gave its own color as 175, 160, 145 friends. If you want, you can make this color lighter or darker, but I did it to differentiate it a bit more. Look, a different sweet color texture has formed there in this way. I will already change the color on the ground. In these metals, there is a certain beautiful effect in color changes. I want to show that, friends. There is a situation we call replace material. I want to show that situation because it's very easy. For example, let's say a metal is used here. Metals are used behind the bed. You can immediately turn any texture, color into metal. Friends, there is such a situation. I want to show it. Look now. Let's say, what color should it be? What is our color? Material 2. Is it going to choose this color? Okay, it doesn't matter. Then we'll undo it with Control Z. Now, material 2. This is my color. Look, let's say I want to make this metal. Let me move closer here, friends. Look, I went to the settings section. I came to the metal section. Look, my metals are here, as you can see. Now I can also select the texture from here. My coatings are here, as you can see. Now there's a situation like this, friends. First, you activate the coating. Look, material 2. You right-click and say replace with Enscape material. It asks which one you want to replace it with, the coating or the texture here. Look, let me bring it here. I right-clicked. I came to the metals. I will give an example. I clicked on this. Look, I'm not saying replace right now. I'm just seeing this on the screen. I haven't done anything right now. Look, or for instance, let it be plaster. Concrete. Let's say concrete. Let's go to the concrete section like this, friends. Let it be this one. Look, I'm just selecting it. I'm not doing anything else. It automatically selects it. But until I say replace, I'm just seeing this on the screen. Friends, I'm not doing anything else. Look, it's selected. Let me get a bit closer. I'm just selecting the concretes from here. So there's nothing else. Apart from that, look what's there. So this could also be a bit more stained, like this. It could be plaster. A process like this. It won't change this until I press the replace button from here, friends. That's why I close it by saying close. It returned to its old color. Look, as you can see, a process like this. By doing these, we can perform our operations in various ways. I will also make this 220 and 220. I will use the wall color here as well, friends. 220, 220. Let's do it like this. We actually have the opportunity to use very different colors. Yes, I use such a color here as well. We need to divide the part on the ground here. I mean, when I say we need to divide it, we don't have such an obligation, but I think if we divide it, we will create a different ambience. I think I'm in the recording stage right now. Yes, let's do it like this. We can draw a line from this part, friends. So let's come like this, like this. If we measure from the wall part, like this, it's 183 centimeters. If it's 180, it comes to here. Let it end at 180. So let's finish it at 180 centimeters here. Let it end at 183. Now we're going to do something like this. I say view, compound address of model. I entered here, friends. I selected 183. From here, it came to this part. From here, this. From here, this point, and that point, it even comes to the base of the column. Look, let's do it like this, friends. Let's select from here so that it ends right at the base of the column. I selected here, I took this part. From the covering part, I'll say tile from here. This could be, that could be, I mean, if you want it colorful, there can be different types. I think it should be this. I say import selection. I said close. I transferred it here with the paint bucket, friends. I right-clicked on this and said position to texture. You know this part is a feature of SketchUp itself. I removed it and brought it here. Friends, I left it by saying done. I will enter. I came to scene 1. I went like this. I enlarged this as well, friends. In this way, I performed an operation. I separated that part. As you can see, we made such a distinction. Of course, the situation here is related to your own structure. The harmony between the coating here and the coating there is also important. Of course, we can adjust that too. In fact, we can even add a bit of elevation here. It would look different. It's actually a bit of a personal matter, a matter of detail and design. I want to change the wood here, friends. I want to make it a bit different. I want to do it in lighter tones. How are we going to do that? Look, we can do it like this. First, let's use Enscape's own doors. Let me show you like this. Let's improve our hand skills by doing a few trials. Look, like this. I opened this, let it be active. I came here, friends. Actually, this shouldn't be disappearing, but I couldn't figure out why it is, because we had opened the pin Enscape part. Yes, now, let's open the list view from here. Sorry, let's open the texture view from here. From here, with the eyedropper. I think it's recording right now. Yes, I selected my texture with the eyedropper. Look, it says the floor is wood. I say replace with Enscape material. I went to the wood section. Let me activate it from here, friends. By selecting from here, let my eyes be here. Look, it took it. I want a lighter type of texture. Let's see. These are all dark. Actually, the dark looks nice too. But the harmony between these two isn't very good. That's why I want to change it. This is normal plain wood. Yes. We have a slightly more striped type of wood. It can be dark and light as well. It would look different, but I wanted a lighter. I wanted a white type of wood here, but I still haven't found it. There is a blank. This will also look a bit different. I mean, it looks a bit aged, to be honest. I don't want it to look aged. We'll have to find that from outside, friends. We will use the coatings from there. For now, let's choose a temporary coating here from their own coatings. Let it stay like this for now. This doesn't look bad, to be honest. Or it could be a coating like this, a square coating. Or a coating like this. This could work too. Let's keep this for now, friends. I say replace. If you want to enlarge the texture a bit, you enter the edit section. You can change the place that says 100 to 120 or 150. I set it to 150 like this. Oh, it's too big. It became 1,500. I set it to 150, so I enlarged it a bit more, friends. Let's take a look like this. When we look, it's a tone like this. Here we have given a sense of depth, with a dark tone here and a light tone there. Besides that, we will change the coating texture and also change the textures here a bit more. The carpet texture looks very low quality, friends. Look, it appears bad in terms of resolution. It will be a situation where we will continue by changing that as well.